Step into the darkness where reality blurs and nightmares come alive. I never believed in the supernatural, at least not until that fateful night when everything changed. It all started innocently enough, just a group of friends, bored and looking for something to do on a chilly autumn evening. We gathered in the basement of my friend Jake's house, surrounded by flickering candlelight and the faint scent of incense. Someone had dug up an old book of spells from their attic, and we were curious to see if we could make any of them work. We laughed and joked as we flipped through the dusty pages, reading aloud the strange incantations and nonsensical rhymes. None of us really believed they would actually do anything, but there was a thrill in the air, an excitement that crackled with the promise of the unknown. And then we found it, the ritual of the demon's mark. It was a simple enough spell, or so it seemed. All we had to do was draw a series of symbols on our skin with a mixture of charcoal and water, and recite the incantation 3 times under the light of the full moon. It sounded harmless enough, just a silly bit of fun to pass the time. But as I dipped my finger into the charcoal and began to trace the symbols onto my skin, a sense of unease settled over me, a feeling that something was watching, waiting, lurking in the shadows just out of sight. I tried to shake off the feeling as I recited the incantation with the others, the words feeling strange and foreign on my tongue. But as the final words left my lips, a chill ran down my spine, and I knew that something had gone terribly wrong. At first, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. But as the days passed, strange things began to happen. I would catch glimpses of shadowy figures out of the corner of my eye, only to turn and find nothing there. Objects would move on their own, as if guided by some unseen force. And worst of all, I began to have nightmares, vivid, terrifying dreams of being pursued by something dark and malevolent, something that hungered for my soul. But the worst was yet to come. One morning, I woke up to find strange symbols etched into my skin, symbols that glowed with an otherworldly light and pulsed with a sickening energy. They were the same symbols we had drawn during the ritual, but somehow, different, twisted, corrupted. I tried to wash them away, scrubbing at my skin until it was raw and bleeding, but the symbols remained, mocking me with their silent presence. And as I stared at them in horror, I knew that I had unwittingly summoned something far more powerful than I could have ever imagined. The days blurred together as I struggled to unravel the mystery behind the symbols, to find a way to rid myself of the demon's mark that had branded me as its prey. I scoured books and websites, seeking out any information that could help me break the curse that had been unleashed upon me. But the more I searched, the more I realized that I was running out of time. The demon was growing stronger with each passing day, its dark influence spreading like a cancer through my mind and soul. I could feel it lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And then, one night, it happened. I awoke to find myself paralyzed, unable to move or scream as the darkness closed in around me. I could feel the demon's presence looming over me, its foul breath hot against my skin as it whispered promises of pain and suffering in my ear. I struggled against its hold, fighting to break free from its suffocating grip. But no matter how hard I fought, I couldn't escape its grasp. And as I felt its claws dig into my flesh, I knew that I was doomed, that I would never be free from the demon's mark that had branded me as its own. But just as all hope seemed lost, a glimmer of light appeared on the horizon, a flicker of hope in the darkness. With a surge of adrenaline-fueled determination, I summoned every last ounce of strength I had left and reached for the small vial of holy water that lay on my bedside table. With trembling hands, I splashed the water onto the symbols etched into my skin, screaming in agony as the holy water burned away the demon's mark. And as the symbols faded into nothingness, I felt a sense of relief wash over me, a sense of victory in the face of unspeakable evil. But even as the demon retreated into the shadows, I knew that its influence would linger, a constant reminder of the horrors I had faced and the darkness that still lurked within me. And as I drifted off into an uneasy sleep, I prayed that I would never again be tempted to dabble in forces beyond my control, that I would never again summon the demon's mark that had nearly cost me everything.